perfection, really.
Listen, if there's anything I'm really good at, it's being imperfect.
And that's why we're moving ahead. Not because we said, like, I always say, you don't get to go to the gym skinny, you know? You have to show up. You have to.
Exactly. You don't have to go to the gym skinny. That's awesome.
So, like, I have to do like pre-workout to be able to. No, just go.
Yeah, seriously.
People cheer you on. Like, we love seeing people be brave.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
The underdog story. If you're nervous, say, hey guys, I'm really freaking nervous, but I'm still doing this. How inspiring is that?
That's what I'm telling people. It's okay to say that. It's even okay to say that. Like, so speaking of that, is it okay to say that when you step out onto a platform and start talking to people? Paloma, give me some advice, please. Oh, by the way, here's another thing, guys. Another reason why I did this expert connection thing, in case you don't realize this, I'm literally interviewing somebody and I'm picking their brain, but I'm doing it to the masses. But what's really happening, and I pointed this out to Akbar Sheikh just the other day in my group, I'm getting free one-on-one coaching, guys. Hello.
So 100%. And the cool thing is, when it comes to compatibility, I really like, my Instagram account is like for my art. Like, people who in business add me on Instagram, and it's just like, lol, you're not going to see anything about my business. So I could totally pick Trisha's brain about Instagram too. So definitely those kind of collabs are really useful.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. So let's get into this. All right. I want you to give me some tips, and the people who are watching, whether you're watching live or catching the replay. PS, if you catch the replay, make sure you hit hashtag replay. Do it anywhere you're seeing this, because that's important. It helps us know. Plus it's a nice thing for the algo, just saying. So so Paloma.
Yes.
What would be 3 tips that you would give me? We'll start with 3 tips that you would give me that will help me to make sure that I am captivating my audience when I step out onto a platform to start my speaking gigs in 2018.
Yeah, great. I'll ask you first, what do you think is the hardest about it? Like, what's hardest about it?
I think the thing that is tripping me up right now is I've been on stage before, but I haven't been on stage to speak to people about a thing. Yeah. And I think it's my fear of the unknown, I don't know how to feel or what to expect in front of a camera. Facebook Live's so easy for me because the people aren't right there in front of my face.
Yeah.
So I think that might be a big piece of it. So yeah, help me.
Okay. So what I like to do is, like, when you can identify exactly what the fear is, then I like to go into what I call a fear fantasy. Okay. So let's go there. Okay, Trish, this is going to happen. So you're going to be in front of them, and your Facebook Lives are incredible, but you're going to go in front of that audience and it's not working. So what's happening if it's not working? Go into like the worst thing, the worst fear fantasy.
It's not working. I'm not captivating them. Yeah. Do I tell a joke? Do I fill the room and literally say it out loud? Okay, time to fill a room. Who's not with me right now? Like, do I let my personality come out and make that happen so that people can start laughing and feel like they can resonate with me? Because that's what I got in my back pocket right now.
And then even more so, okay, so this is what happens. This is the fear fantasy. So you get up there. Not only there's like not a lot of people who show up, the people who do are not paying attention. They don't care. They don't laugh at they don't get you, right? Like, when you go into the fear fantasy and you say to yourself, okay, in that case, what would happen? Would it still have been worthwhile?
Yes.
Even if the worst happens, if you accidentally like vomit on stage, if like a pigeon flies by, craps on your head, if your like hair starts to fall out, if all the worst happens, was it still worth it that you did it?
Absolutely.
Because of who you become when you do scary things, right?
Right.
And so, going into the fear fantasy, and the funny thing is, like, everything that we imagine can happen is really just like, how likely is that? Very unlikely. But then you go into the fear fantasy and really ask yourself, what is potentially painful about it? Mm-hmm. Like, what is potentially painful about going on a date with this person? Oh, they might see that, like, I have like wrinkles here, and they might think like, oh, you were cuter on Tinder than like, really, like,
Tinder.
Everyone is cuter on Tinder. It's fine. But like, first of all,
swipe left, swipe right.
I think, guys, we should do that for Facebook groups. You swipe right or left on your Facebook. That way you choose. You can super like my and Trisha's group, right?
Oh yeah, I think that's a great idea. Oh my God, let's do that.
That would be amazing.
Yeah.
Nobody steal our idea.
Swipe right if you like my group. Swipe right if you like the Badass Communicators Club.
Yes, definitely. So then the next thing would be this. You have to realize, are we cutting now?
I froze up for a second. Hold on.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, but
oh, my video froze up. That's funny. One moment, please.
Right?
What, really with that? Like,
friends, this is on purpose. We're just trying to show you imperfect is okay.
Oh, wait a minute. Hold on a second. What did I do? Show myself.
Friends, it's just an intermission. That's why we go live.
I just want to spotlight Paloma and let you all know how lovely she is.
Exactly, guys. This is on purpose. It's very on purpose.
Totally on purpose. Hold on a second. What happened? Hold on. Hold up. Wait a minute.
Take a sip of water.
Stop video. Oh, there I am. There's my mug for like a second.
Right. There's Trish's Tinder profile pic.
Swipe right.
Swipe right. Yes. Up. Super like.
My husband's going, swipe left. She's married. There I am. Yay.
Okay, so let's do a little thought experiment. So at work, you're paid in dollars. School, you're paid in grades. In communication, what are you paid in? That's a riddle.
Ooh.
So at work, you're paid in money. School, you're paid in grades. Communication, what are you paid in? Write in the comments, friends. Take a quick guess.
Responses?
Yeah. So I
really?
would say
that's the answer?
Attention. You're paid in attention.
Oh, okay. Yay! So
it's like people can switch the channel on you really fast, right? And so when we are communicating, we are really learning the art of maintaining attention. Because how are you going to convince, sell, negotiate, persuade if people aren't even engaging, right? And so let me tell you, Trish, something crazy happened yesterday. I got home and you would not believe who was in my bed. It was crazy. But actually, I'm going to tell you that after. So I went to the grocery store and I go to pick up apples. I take a bite of this apple and you wouldn't believe what was inside. Anyway, so I go home and in my bed, this person, I was like, how did Gary Vaynerchuk, how's Gary Vaynerchuk, right? So we're like weaving this story where it's like, how do we maintain attention? There's lots of ways. But one is we leave a curiosity gap, right? So it's like delaying gratification, right?
Okay. This is really interesting to me. That's literally how Ellen DeGeneres used to tell her jokes when she did stand up.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
It was hilarious, but she would just go on and on and on with all these stories, and it was hilarious delivery. But please continue. So that's who I thought of.
A curiosity gap. That is the reason that people open emails. That is the reason that people stay to the end of the webinar. That is the reason that people pay attention, because we hate an unresolved problem. Our brain goes nuts. So what you can do is, instead of giving all the goods right up front, you can say like, I'll tell you the job that I used to have before I was an Instagram queen. And it was really freaking embarrassing. And all my friends laughed at me that was the kind of work that I was doing. Anyways, tell you about that later.
Okay.
So weave these different pieces in that they have to pay attention. They have to earn it. And how do they earn it? They earn it with their attention.
Listen to Paloma. You guys, if you love this, if you love that wonderful little piece of advice, can you just please give us some love and say the word love in comments? And that way we know, because we just adore Paloma. If you don't know who she is, I hope to God she has like 50 friend requests by now.
Thank you. That's so sweet. I really appreciate that. And then the next thing is, I was surprised. I've been working for myself since I was 19, teaching the art of confident communication. One thing that I was surprised about was that a lot of my clients were engineers. I'm like, engineers? What the hell does that have to do with what I do, right? But consistently, yesterday I worked with a client who's an engineer. And we were working on getting him into his grad school of choice. He wants to go to MIT, right?
Okay.
And so, I got this first draft that was facts. I studied this with this professor. I did this with this person. I accomplished. I'm so smart. And I said to him, with love, darling, who gives a rat's ass? Everyone who's applying to MIT is smart. It doesn't make you special. And so, for us in our field, like, I'm good. Yeah, duh, that's just that's entry into the game, but that's not enough to capture their attention. And so I've been shocked that most people don't know how to tell a good story. And there are two crucial components of an incredible story. And I'll give you a little, I'll give you an example. You tell me what the difference between A and B is. And friends, feel free, listen in and tell us what's the difference between A and B. So A is, Trish is really pretty. She's really wonderful. She has an awesome husband. She has great kids and her life is really good. She succeeds all the time and she's really cool. That's story one. Okay. Story two. Trish was born to parents who were really struggling. And let me take some license here. None of this is true. Trish was born to parents who were really struggling and they worked their ass off for everything in her life. Not only that, but she had a speech impediment when she was 5 that she was so embarrassed about. She didn't even want to talk to other people. She was so nervous in her, kindergarten class when they had to read out loud. But then she went to the speech therapist and go through all of that pain. And then one day someone challenges her, Trish, I know you can be great. You don't have to worry about blah, blah, blah. She gets in front of her school and she stands there for 10 minutes, paralyzed. She can't say anything. She's freaking out. And then, she sees her friend in the audience who's like, you go, girl. And she started. And there were a couple stumbles, but she did it. And she ended up winning the speech competition that year, right? But it wasn't an easy journey from there. From there, she went through blah, blah, blah challenge. And it was so painful. It was embarrassing. She cried in her office. She hated her job so much that she was in the office crying, considering like, how can I just run away from my kids, from my job? I just don't like this life. But then she had this conversation with this random grandma on the subway. And this grandma, she had this twinkle in her eye. And this grandma said to her, I don't know who you are, but I know you're meant to be great. And she bawled her eyes out on the subway, her mascara running down her face. And she sat on the subway ride after ride after ride, thinking about who she could be and what she could become, right? And from that day forward, blah, 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 right? What is the difference between story A and B? Nobody wants to share their ups and downs. They want it to be start at the beginning, tell all the good shit, and cut out everything painful. Nobody cares that you had all of these good things happen to you in a row unless you are some kind of underdog who's earned it. If you haven't earned it, I don't care about you. And so a movie that I saw recently, Lion, is about this little Indian kid who gets lost for like 3-4 years from his parents. And he's wandering around like trying to survive. By the time he meets his birth mom, I was in the theater with my sister and she knows I'm a sensitive flower. She like touches my face and she's like, Paloma, you're crying. I'm like, no. But I'm like, you're crying. But you need to earn the ups, right? And so what you want to do, an amazing story is, and if this is telling your own story, juxtapose the highest highs with the lowest lows. That's one thing. Number 2 is everyone wants to start their story at the beginning. We were lied to as kids. We were all told a story goes beginning, middle, and end. Trish, any idea what the revision of that might be? Instead of beginning, middle, end, how are we going to switch that around to be a more captivating story?
I would think that it would be the end, the middle, and the beginning.
Sure. So I would say this. You start off with the middle, then you go to the beginning, then you go to the end, right? So, for example, you start off with my 3-year-old's head was in the gorilla's mouth. Oh, God. How did this happen? You see, earlier that day I'd been drinking.
Gotcha.
It's been a problem for so long. Ever since I was younger. I started when I was 14, right? So you start off in the highest moment of drama, the highest moment of pain. And there's a Latin phrase for that, in medias res, in the middle of the story, right? You start in the middle, and then don't worry. They're going to say, wait, how the hell did that happen? Then you work your way backwards and you fill in the context. But if you want to start off with, there were 3 trees, the driveway was gray, The birds were twinkling in the sky. Like, nobody cares. And they'll flip the channel on you. But if you start with the highest moment of drama, so what I would challenge you when you're telling your story is, can you kick us in the proverbial balls? Can you do that? Like,
oh, yes.
Give us a moment, make us feel the pain, make us cry for you before you give us the goods.
Challenge accepted.
Yes. And I was working with my friend Luis Alvarado, who runs Facebook group, The Entrepreneur Accelerator, right? Mm-hmm. And I was saying to him, you know, I've gotten to know him as a friend. I was in New York. He's from Florida. I'm from Canada. And we met in New York. And he's been helping me. I've been helping him. I said to him, Luis, you're such an interesting person. He's like a dancer and like he's done cool stuff. But his people don't really know all the cool stuff he's done. And so I gave him a challenge. I'm like, go get some sticky notes. Get some red ones and some green ones, okay? Or whatever the hell colors you can get. 2 different colors. And I want you to plot out on a blank wall of yours. If you have sticky notes, folks, do this at home. You got it. Perfect. Amazing. Okay, great. So the pink will be the low moments. The green will be the high moments. Plot out almost like a graph in your life. What were the lowest of the lows? And this is going to take some vulnerability. You sort of have to lie to yourself and say, I'm not going to share this. And then you're going to, but just lie to yourself and say like, nobody needs to know. And you put your lowest moments and then above your highest moments. And then you can play around with the order. Then you can sticky it like this. I'm going to put this dramatic moment where I'm like crying on the floor of my kitchen first. When I'm like literally Googling like painless ways to kill myself. James Altucher is an amazing example of this, a killer storyteller, incredible, because he knows the power of drama.
I would like to very quickly give a quick shout out to Ben Perry. Ben Perry's in the house, and he popped in on my personal page, and I want to give him a quick shout out because he is another guy who is amazing at storytelling, and he is also phenomenal at organic growth across social media in general. So I just want to give him a quick shout out.
Hey Ben, hope you're doing awesome.
Go follow Ben Perry if you're not doing it already.
Yeah. So what would you say for you, like, what could you think of, like a really, God. Yeah.
Oh my God. You want to talk about, this kid's got some stories, let me tell you. Yeah. Oh my God. I mean, there's stories about stuff that I did in the Navy. I mean, oh my God, I could talk about how I almost fell off of a helicopter.
Wow. Yeah. Like all of that is really interesting. And I said to Luis, I was like, do this as a telenovela and do it as like 2 minutes at a time and end at that dramatic moment. Like I looked up to my father who was about to pass away. Boom, stop, give them that 2 minutes and make them beg for more. Make them beg for it. Like, you know, don't give them the tissue before they sneeze. Don't give them the food before they're hungry. You have to build hunger and then you satisfy it. And most people don't do that. Most people, this goes for selling your shit as well. Most people say like, I have this course and you're like, wait, what? What does that have to do with what I want and need? If you start off with, hey man, if you don't feel 100% confident, you're losing money, you're losing clients, you're losing sales. And then once you've described their problem, they'll say, okay, but what can I do about this? And you say, I'm glad you asked, right? And then you offer the food, then you offer the solution. But most people have it backwards. They're offering solution before problem. And then they wonder why people don't respond to their offers.
If all you're doing all day long is taking the stick of chapstick and just throwing it at people, that's literally all you're doing. You know how many people I know that hate chapstick? Like really? Despise chapstick.
That's right? Funny.
So if I sat here and I said, this is the most fantastic chapstick in the world, you should totally buy this chapstick, what does it do me any good? Right. For all the people who can't stand, who hate chapstick, what does it do me any good? Now, it's completely different if I do a Facebook Live and I'm just talking about what's going on in my life and blah, 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 blah. I pick up this chapstick and I'm doing this thing. And I just tell them, hey, you know what? This chapstick's pretty freaking awesome, by the way. I've been using these for a while. And yeah, I really like it. It's got like a like an essential oils kind of a feel to it, like a little mentholyptic kind of a feel to it. And it just feels really, really nice. Do you see the difference in what I just did?
And then what if you say something like, I was on a date and my lips were so fucking chapped, it was embarrassing. And I didn't know if, and my lip was bleeding on this date. And this guy's talking about his favorite sports team. I'm just trying to like be like, oh shit, I forgot my lip balm. If
And, like,
only.
yeah, exactly.
If
Boom.
only, right?
I love it. I love it. See, you guys are getting some killer nuggets from Paloma today. I'm telling you right now. I'm just throwing this out here. I'm pretty sure she's literally sharing like at least $1,000 worth of her knowledge. I'm just gonna throw that out there.
Thank you.
Thank you very, very much.
I think it would be really fun. It's also fun to just like see it on your wall. Everything that you've been through and everything that you've like every triumph you've had, you know?
Yep. I mean, I jumped out of a plane. I can't even tell you. I can't even tell, like.
Yours would cover all your walls.
Oh my, like, seriously, if I sit down, I hid my books in the woods when I was in 2nd grade because I didn't want to do homework.
That's amazing.
True story. Yeah, I am a hot mess right here. Like this right here. Just
because her eyebrows look perfect, friends, doesn't.
Oh my God. Okay. Seriously. Dr. Marnita, Spot Cafe Tampa. Just throwing that out there. If you're in the area, go check her out. So we got things. Okay. And I got to hop off soon because I have another interview that I need to do in my group. So here we go. If you love Paloma, like I do, like so many, I mean, literally, to know her is to love her. She's amazing. Go check out the Badass Communicators Club. Honey, grab your link and drop it like it's hot. We are in, she is a confident communication coach. She's got her master's degree in English. She helps people in all sorts of different ways. Her group alone, like her posts, like her content is like baller content. Like I can't even tell you, I'm nowhere near as good at the content thing as she. I can't write really to save my life. I'm getting a little bit better at it. But I am getting better at it. But, you know, it's people like you that I kind of, you know, you lead by example. And I definitely, if I just like, you know, pop into a couple of your posts, I find that it's pretty incredible. And getting to know Paloma is just another thing. We talked about this before we went live, but it's that whole, you know, guys, I wrote this down and I really wanted to share this with you because it's something that's been bugging me before we hop off. Competing with other people is like